These phone calls from newspapers, magazine, TV people want to talk about, interview me about the Woodsock celebration coming up, you know, this year, 40th anniversary, and they're all asking the same thing. They're saying, Arlo, what was it like? I just say, I remember getting there. That's about it. I remember because I was driving a big old checker cab that was actually made up here in Canada, but it was one of these big cars, and we had the whole band in that one car. I mean, me and my guitars, a guy with a double bass, set of drums, that guy, their girlfriends, and their stuff, all in one car. And that's what we took to Woodstock, and we got, you know, about most of the way there, and they say, you can't go any further, the roads are closed, so we're sending you to some other place. So we went to this motel or something, and when we got out of the car, we saw it was a helicopter waiting to take us into the site, and I was so freaking excited, because I had never been in something like that. I was, you know, a kid, I was about 18, 19, and I remember getting in that chopper, and the doors was open as we took off. And no matter how high we went, there was people as far as the eye could see in every direction. And I remember in that chopper there was two New York State troopers. One was a big guy on one side of the door and one was a little guy on the other side. And I remember the big one looking down and saying, there's a lot of hippies down there. The little one looked down, he said, yep. And the big one said, I bet they're doing lots of illegal stuff. And the little one said, yep. Then the big one looked down and said, well, I'm not going down there nothing, are you? And the little one said, nope. That's when I came to the conclusion that we was going to have a pretty good time at that festival. I was not mistaken. I remember I got there on the first day of that 3-day event, and I wasn't supposed to play. At least I was under the impression that I was not supposed to play until the second day or something. So I just got there. I'm walking around, you know, backstage saying hi to people, stuff like that. And eventually I went into the crowd there in the big hill and mud and rain. And I was doing what everybody else was doing that day. So at some point that afternoon, I had a serious case of the munchies. Looking for stuff to eat, something to drink, you know. And there was nothing there. So I went backstage hoping they'd have something, and there was nothing backstage. All they had back there was 147 cases of champagne they was saving for the end of the event. And by the end of the first day, that was gone. And I don't remember how many cases I was personally responsible for, but between that and the other stuff we was doing that day, it came as a surprise when somebody come up and said, Arlo, you got to play now, man. I said, I can't play now, man. I'm not here now, man. I'm coming tomorrow. I said, no, you're here, man. You got to play now, man. I said, I can't play now, man. I can't walk now, man. I said, we don't care about that stuff. Richie Haven's been up there playing for hours. There's nobody else. You got to play now, man. And I was too young to realize I could have said no. So anyway, I grabbed my big 12-string guitar, walked out on that big stage, and they had a circular stage. It was built into the regular stage, so while the guys in front was playing, you could set up the guys in back. And then when they was done, just twist the stage around, not be wasting time breaking down the band, setting up the next one. It was a great idea. I mean, it didn't work, but it was a great idea. And in the middle of the circular stage, they had this big hole for all the cables and mic lines, wires and stuff like that. They didn't tell me about the hole. I wasn't looking for the hole. I was looking at more people I knew I'd ever see again in my life at one time. And I was looking at them like you could back then, each one individually. That's when I remember falling through time and space. And then the most unbelievable thing happened. I moved through the molecular structure of the wood itself. And I rematerialized on the other side of the hole, almost completely intact. That's all I remember about it. Coming in from London from over the pole, flying in a big airliner, chicken flying everywhere around the plane. Could we ever feel much fine up? Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. That's a man with his ticket to Mexico. No, they couldn't look much stranger, walking in the wall with his things and all, smiling, said he was the Lone Ranger, coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. There's a woman walking on the moving floor, tripping on the escalator. There's a man in the line, she's blowing his mind, thinking that he's already made up. Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. Coming in from London, from over the pole, flying in a big airliner, chicken flying everywhere around the plane. Could we ever feel much finer? Coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. Don't touch my bags if you please, Mr. Customs Man. That was the old days. I don't think they've changed all that much. I'm not sure, but
Around here.
But I remember just a few years ago, I was flying overseas and I was at the airport in Boston. I was with my son, Abe, and in the same waiting area for the same plane was a couple of American Secret Service guys. They got those black suits and the ear things and stuff. And these are big boys, you know. And when you're a child of the 60s and you're in that kind of proximity, there's a chemical reaction that takes place. So I knew they was looking at me, even if they didn't appear to be. And sure enough, one walked right up to me, stopped in front, and he looked down, and he said, "Are you Guthrie?" And I thought, oh shit. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Guthrie, are you bringing in a couple of keys?" And a big smile spread across his face, you know. And I looked up and realized, this guy grew up with that stuff. So we ended up with all kinds of Secret Service pins and buttons. And I walked away thinking, times have changed.